second live for today. I might delete the last one. It was about my raven story. It looks like it's like blurry, and I don't know if it's because it's still processing or if it was because I was too far away from video connection and just it kind of seemed in and out. So anyway, that one wasn't a horse video. This one is going to be talking about softness and feel, so related to horses. And yeah, I came across this the other day. Hi, how are you? I've had this book for a while, but something told me to get it out, and I opened to this page, and feel is a verb. So a couple videos ago, I think I talked about feel, and one of the things that I like to use or like teach my fitness clients about feel is putting your hand together with somebody else and kind of move your hands up and down. You can kind of do it with yourself too. And I opened to this page here, and this stood out to me. This is usually what my books look like when I find something good. I highlight and underline and stuff. And that's one part of it. But this right here is I came to understand that feel can be lost by trying to find it in your head. And I think that's so true. Same goes with horses as with training in the gym. When you're in the gym working out, you have to feel the weight, and you can't really feel it and find it in your head. It has to be, you have to be in your body and mindful of your body. You can't be mindless. And we talked about, one of the last videos was mindfulness. And I think you have to be aware of like your body. You have to be mindful of your body. Have your awareness on your body, because when you have your awareness and your mind on your body, it takes you out of the analytical thinking mind. Because I think if you're thinking and analytical, you're not going to have true feel. And he says here too, concentration can be an enemy, and that's so true. I learned a long time ago, concentration is harsh. It's too harsh. Focus is softer. And I heard somebody say the other day, and I really liked it. It's like notice. When you're riding or doing anything that you're doing, you want to notice. And that's kind of the mindfulness too. When you're mindful, you're aware of your body, what your body's doing. You're noticing certain things. You're not trying to figure things out. You're not in your head. You're not being analytical, because then you're going to lose the feel of it. You have to notice. So when you're riding your horse, you don't want to concentrate. Concentration, I think, contracts your energy, and it kind of gives you harsher eyes, and we kind of want soft eyes. And to me, soft eyes feels like when you pull your eyes back and your ears come out. That's how I feel it. That's how I've described it in the past. And, they say when you take one sense away, that your other senses get stronger. And that's kind of what it feels like. If you're not really pinpointing and like looking directly out, which is kind of like harsh eyes, when you're like really concentrating on something or concentrating down, it gives you the harsh eyes. It kind of takes you away from the feel, true feel of like what you're feeling from your horse. And soft eyes to me is like pulling your eyes back, which almost makes you want to take a deep breath. When you pull your eyes back, and you're using more peripheral vision, so you can see all the way out here. You're not pinpointed, focused just forward. It's like you pull your eyes back and you have a peripheral vision. And to me, it like kicks in my hearing more too, I think. And then it really gets me in touch with my body and my feel. It makes me breathe differently. So you can kind of play with that too. Focus outward, like put your attention on something and like really look at it, how it like, I think too, for what I feel from it, it's like, it's almost like predator energy. You know how predators focus in on something? So if you look out and focus, it changes your energy compared to pulling your eyes back, and like getting that peripheral vision is more open. The harsh eyes or hard eyes is more pinpointed, and the soft eyes is more open. So the other is more closed down, tunnel vision, and which is like predator energy, right? Horses are prey animals, and their vision is different from ours. And I think I actually have a book that even talked about, I don't know if it was the soft eyes and hard eyes, but I'll have to see if I can find it. I don't want to say anything because I don't want to like say it wrong. But yeah, so that just gave me another book that I can go look at. And anyway, so there's a difference between concentration and focus and even notice. Focusing to me is like the soft eyes, and you have a focus that's more open. The concentration is more closed, pinpointed, tunnel vision. And then noticing is just, I think, kind of like self-awareness. Like, what are you noticing? What are you noticing when you're doing things? When I ride, I like to notice things, and then I log them. I log them, and I don't think about them, but I just notice. I notice what I'm doing, what I'm feeling, and I think too, feel to me is like it's a communication and a feedback between you and your horse. And so when you do something and then you feel what your horse does, you get feedback from your horse, and it's just kind of like a continuous communication and feedback between you and your horse. It's a give and a giving and a receiving, back and forth. It's like this, you know, with the hands. And you can do it with yourself, but it's really neat to do it with somebody else because you don't know what kind of pressure they're going to give, but you want to try to keep your hands together and move them. And one person, thank you, one person can maybe be the leader and the other follow, and then, you know, switch it. Or, you know, don't even say, and just say if you can just like feel what each other's doing and take turns without saying who's leading and who's not. You know, so you get that connection. It's when those two things come together, that connection, and then it's like learning to follow the flow, follow the energy of what's there, follow the feedback. That's what feel is to me. And when you have the feel, that's when your timing gets better. When you're riding or lunging or whatever you're doing with your horse, groundwork, your timing gets better, because you have to have good timing when you're working with your horse, because if you're asking your horse to do something, you have to notice the smallest little try. And I think that comes with feel and with awareness, because if you're asking them something and they try and then you release, you want to release as quick as possible so they learn, because they learn from the release, not from, you know, the pickup or the pressure. They learn when you get the response you want, which is their feedback. So you do something and then they're going to respond in some kind of a way. And you want to get to where you can like notice the smallest response in the smallest try, and then release. And that's where good feel comes into play. And that's just awareness of your energy, your body, and just being in the present and noticing. You know, it's like sometimes it's very subtle. And I think the more in tune you get with like the subtle energy and subtle tries, it makes your connection and your relationship get better and better. So we talked about softness and feel. You know, and you guys help me out because the more I talk about this stuff like out loud, it helps me to like get it more concrete in my head. Because, you know, sometimes you can know something and do something, but if you're not really saying it out loud, you know, like some of this stuff I've never really thought to try to tell anybody, but I notice things when I ride. I feel things, and you just don't want to try to figure it out exactly when you're on your horse, because that takes you out of the feel. It kind of puts you more up in your head, and then you lose that feel. So when you're on your horse, you want to try not to figure it out and try not to think about what it is that you're feeling or getting, and wait and save that until after you're done riding. So stay in the present, stay in the feel, and just notice and be aware, and notice the feedback that you're getting. You know, that I think that's how you learn. It's like when you do something, you hold your reins one way and you ask them to do something, notice the feedback, you know, and you can adjust what you're sending to your horse depending or according to your horse's feedback. Does that make sense? It's kind of like it's a give and take. It's this energy again, you know, and it's like, I never did it this way, but yeah, it's like flow. It's like, you know, you're kind of staying together. So, you know, say if I take this hand and I push, you know, but you're just pushing enough to make whatever it is on the other side move. It's like when you're lifting weights, you know, you feel the weight. And actually I have some weights right here. I'm in my gym. Let me see. Let me find a, yeah. Okay, here's an 8-pound dumbbell. And, sorry, I can't back up anymore. Let me see. I have some benches here. Okay, hey, how you doing? Okay, so 8-pound dumbbell. You know, I want to put it in my hand, and I want to feel what the weight feels like. And I'm trying to lift it from inside the muscle, right? So when I'm kind of just giving it, you know, a little bit of pressure, probably more than 8 pounds to make it move. You know, I don't want to take it and just like fling it around. That's not feel. That's to me just going through emotion without really thinking about what you're doing. The other way was more focused and purposeful, mindful. I was very aware of like what I was feeling from the weight. Thank you. You know, so feel comes from, yeah, your hands. Well, and I guess just your whole body, I guess, depending on what you're doing. You know, you can feel things through your legs when you're on your horse. You know, if they're pushing a rib cage out or a shoulder or, yeah. And I was also thinking about the other day doing the workout that we did, and I was on the balance board, I was on the wobble board, and I was thinking about that. Standing on that to me is kind of gets you in touch with your feel too. or probably even like on a Bosu, where you're having to stand there, it kind of brings you all the way down in your body, and it gets you in touch with your feel. It gets you grounded. To me, I think that helps to make you feel better. So when you're riding, the balance type stuff makes you feel better. Makes you feel better, not makes you feel better. It probably does make you feel better too, but it makes you feel better doing doing the balance type stuff, because it kind of teaches you. And I worked with a client today, so I just started going back to the gym. I've been doing clients online through Facebook Messenger and Skype for the last year and a half, and now about 5 weeks ago I started going back to the gym, and it's kind of neat to like train somebody in person again. So, and I went today and I had somebody on the balance board, and it was somebody that doesn't have really good balance. His balance is a little off, so I want to try to help him get that better. And he kept wanting to, I put him next to a machine so he could stand on the balance board and then use, just a finger for, in case he needed it for balance. But he was wanting to like grab on, and it takes away from the feeling that you get when you're standing there on the balance board without it. Because without it, yeah, you might feel the board move a little bit, but that's kind of part of it. You don't want to hold on to try to keep the board from moving. That's not really the goal. The goal to balance is taking your hand off of that thing and feeling your ankles float and your feet float on the board, feeling your core engage, and practicing that. And by the end of the workout, when we did it at the end, his balance was better. So, and he got to where he felt more comfortable to take his hand away. And I said, it's okay if the board moves, but notice what you're feeling in your body, because when you notice and pay attention to what you're feeling on the inside of your body and how your mind has to be in order to have balance, because if you try too hard, it stiffens your body up, it puts you all in your head, and then it makes you top heavy and it takes your balance away. So you can't really be thinking. You have to be present though. You want to be present. And I think just standing on the wobble board like that and just feeling that and practicing that really gets you in touch with your feel. And then if your feel's good, your timing's going to be better. So, and that's all I have to say about that. Anyway, we might try that on a video. It's like really smoky outside. So I didn't want to do any exercise outside, and my gym is a mess right now, so I just got up against the wall so you can see the wall. You can't tell how messy it is in here. So yeah, but the balance board and the any type of like balancing thing, I think brings you to the present, because if you're not in the present and you're thinking, your balance is going to be off. That's a good way to judge like how your mind is too, I think. Because if you have too much going on in your mind, or you're just kind of frazzled, you're more than likely going to be top heavy and your balance isn't going to be good. So I think I'm laughing at myself because I think it's all about balance, because I say that to my clients sometimes. It's like, depending on what day it is and what we're talking about, it's always whatever we're talking about. I think it's all about balance, or I think it's all about soft eyes, or I think it's all about whatever. But in this case, I think if you have good balance, I think it improves your feel. It improves your connection, because if you think about it, so if we're talking about the energy centers, so you have 1 through 7, and they're the colors of the rainbow. So you have red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and purple. And we kind of went through those on the tuning fork day, which I think was actually last Wednesday. So your first energy center is red, and it is all about grounding. And I think you have to get grounded first before you can pull in some of the others, because to me that first one is grounding, and that's when you're grounded, it brings you to the present, and you're feeling the gravity of your body. And I think I mentioned this in the last live about the mindfulness too, is like the sigh energy. The sigh energy is like, it's kind of like an exhale. To me, that kind of like just is a letting go energy, and it brings you right down to that first energy center. And it's like you just feel grounded. It slows you down too. You know, when you really become embodied, so you get in your body, that's what I call it. It's like, get in your body. What does that mean? The way that I picture getting in your body and the way I feel it is like, if I'm thinking about something and my energy's directed out, you know, or I'm looking at somebody, you know, you feel drawn out. Have you ever had that feeling you feel drawn out of your body because your body's tending to move in the direction that you're like really focused on? You know, the same like if you're doing, I don't know if you've ever done walking lunges, but it's like important to keep, or squats, to keep your chin up and stay more upright, because once you start looking at the ground, because you want to feel more stable, instead of kind of looking out, you look down because it's easier to balance. Once you start tilting your head this way, your body starts to follow the way that you're looking. So if you're really focused on something on the outside of yourself, it can tend to shift your body weight, you know, forward. Now I forget why I was saying that about, oh shoot, I do that sometimes. Yeah, why was I saying that now? I was saying that for, oh, what it feels like to me to like stay in your body or to get in your body. So to me, if you're focused outwards, to me, it would feel like you're pulling yourself back, which it shifts your weight back. So say I'm looking at something and my attention is being pulled out, it's like, wait a second, and that changes your breath right there. So imagine like if you're riding and you're leaning forward or you're leaning too far back, it changes your energy, it cuts your breath off. So if you're leaning forward, your horse is going to feel that. You're going to be kind of more top heavy. So, and right now it's changing my breath, but if I say, okay, I'm going to pull all my energy back and let it come down, that's what it feels like to me. Like if you're grounded in the saddle, or just you're grounded within yourself, like within your body, it's almost like it's an effortless seat, and like it feels effortless when you're like if you're sitting in the saddle. If I'm a little bit too far forward, I'm actually, my core tightens a little bit, and I'm actually using energy to keep myself from like falling over more, right? And that can also like put your horse like a little heavier on the front end, because I think what we do, our horses kind of have to kind of compensate for it in some kind of way. So if your energy is kind of going forward, you know, changes your breath, it changes your feel. Your horse feels it. But if you like pull yourself back and let that energy come down, now I feel balanced, right? It's like, I feel like I can breathe. I don't feel like I'm like using any muscles to keep myself from falling either forward, or, you know, you see people lean too far back. That tightens my core right there. It changes my breath. I can't breathe as deep. I'm using effort to like keep myself from falling backwards. And to me, it also kind of creates a little bit of tension because I'm not breathing all the way down. It's like harder. But if I shift my weight forward, just that little bit, you know, when you find the right spot, because then all of a sudden you feel like you can breathe. So if you're too far forward or too far back, when you find that centered spot, when you're centered front to back, you'll feel it by, to me, it makes me take a deep breath and it feels effortless. And I'm not sure how I got off on that subject. But that's all part of it too. And it's all about the breath. A little bit ago was all about the balance, but they're connected. The balance and the breath is connected, because just like what I was talking about is if you're not balanced, so if you're not balanced front to back when you're on your horse, and this goes for working out too, you know, if you're doing something where you're standing up and you're leaning too far forward or you're too far back, same thing, it's going to throw you off. So I think every exercise you do has like an effortless effort starting point, and same when you're riding, right? This is effortless effort right here. I can breathe. I just feel really balanced here, right? And we're talking balance front to back. If I tilt just slightly, so if you're watching this and you're sitting down, pretend like you're sitting on your horse, or you can just sit in a chair with your feet and your legs in front of you. That's mine are in front of me, so I'm not straddled like I'm on a horse, but just sitting in a chair with your legs in front of you, your feet on the ground. Sit up straight to the point where you feel like you can breathe, right? Effortless breath. Then if you let yourself tilt forward just a little bit and notice what you feel, notice how it changes your breath, right? Now all of a sudden you're using extra energy to keep yourself from falling forward more, right? And you also can't breathe as deep. And your horse feels that kind of stuff. I think horses are very in touch with like your breath and the way that you're breathing, you know, more so than we are sometimes. And then if you shift back and if you do it slow, hi, how are you? If you shift yourself back slow, you'll reach a point to where it like makes you feel like you can like take a breath in and you can breathe again. Same goes for if you're too far back. So if you're sitting here and you go slightly back just a little bit, oh good. Did you get sore from the other day? So if you shift slightly back, notice how your core engages and it like changes your breath again. It kind of cuts your breath down. It restricts your breath a little bit more. So you're not breathing, your breathing isn't flowing. Okay, good. Yeah, I got sore both biceps and triceps. So you lean back a little bit, it cuts your breath. It cuts you into, it constricts your breath a little bit more, right? But if you slowly shift yourself forward again, when I get to that sweet spot, that balance spot, I feel like I can breathe again. So you can kind of play with that and play with it to notice like what it makes your breath feel like. You know, like this closes me down. Now I feel open. Going back too far closes me down. Now I feel open. So you're going to have a sweet spot, whether you're riding, whether you're in the gym working out and you're standing up to say do some curls. You know, you're going to have that sweet spot. So I always say you want to be balanced. And this is for in the gym, and this is for riding your horses. You want to be balanced front to back, top to bottom, left to right. And actually, I would say top to bottom first. You want to kind of get in touch with top to bottom first, because if you're top heavy and you're not grounded, it's going to be hard to get balanced in the other ways. So you have to, like, if you're top heavy in your head, you have to bring yourself down or back and down to get grounded. Once you're grounded, then you can tell if you're, you know, front to back and then left to right. So you want to be balanced in all three of those ways: top to bottom, front to back, left to right. And if you're off on any of those ways, you're going to get feedback from your horse. Your horse is going to tell you. Next workout, I'm not sure. Maybe in a day or two. So yeah, possibly tomorrow we might do a workout. It's been really, really smoky here. So if it's not too bad smoky, yeah, maybe a workout tomorrow. So anyway, I could just keep talking about, you know, because to me, like, one thing leads to another and it leads me to another, and it's, yeah. Okay. Well, I think that's it for today. I just wanted to, like, come on here and talk about something, and the softness and the feel came up, and I just started thinking about it, and I was like, I need to, like, you know, try to make a little live video on that. So hopefully it made sense. And tomorrow, yeah, tomorrow I just have one client in the morning, so I don't know what time I would come on. I'm just going to go by how I feel. I might do an early workout. So just, yeah, check the community tab. I think the last couple times I haven't even posted on the community tab. I just, like, I feel like doing a live and I just jumped on. So kind of the same with today. So, and obviously, you know, the live every day in August, I haven't done that. So, but I think I got what I wanted to get from it too. And it's not necessarily about the quantity. It's about, you know, kind of getting on and getting back to some of the lives. And when I feel like I have something that I want to talk about or share, to just come on and do it. So yeah, I missed the last, 3 days or so. But I felt like coming on today and talking just a little bit. And yeah, let me just look here. Did I say this in the beginning? I think I said this in the beginning. There is strength in muscle, but power in softness. And I think that can apply both for in the gym and with horses. That's what I've been trying to do lately too, is, like, I know some of my fitness people have come over and they're watching this too. And I'm trying to relate what I talk about to both horses and to both in the gym, because a lot of what I feel like I do with my horses, I learned from being in the gym. You know, and just being aware of energy and studying different things like that, energy, and I think to me, it goes together. You know, like Mark Ratchett is the one that wrote this book, and he's actually an Aikido master, and he has taken a lot of what he learned from that and applied it to horses, and I feel like that's kind of what I do with my horses. You know, in the gym, all the years that I trained and competed, I've like come up with like my own way to describe what and studying like the energy centers and stuff. The energy centers in your body, so that's energy. So it's not just the physical, it's the physical, the mental, the spirit, your breath, energy. And I think the energy is kind of related to spirit and your breath, because to me, the breath connects your mind, and it connects the mind and the physical, the mind and the body. And with the two connected, that's where you get like the magic and the spirit of it. And I think like what I've learned in the gym, learning what it takes to like really push a heavy weight and to like, you know, push past that pain when you're working out. You know, I learned a long time ago there's like a pain barrier or a threshold. There's like, you know when you're working out and you hit that barrier where it starts to burn. That's usually where a lot of people stop, right? And it's like, in order to push past that, through that, that takes like being mind and body connected, and your breath extinguishing that fire. So you can't be holding your breath. You have to be breathing when you're working out. It gets you through that barrier, and it's almost like when you pass through that barrier and get on the other side, you can do it. It's almost like you're using that pain as like fuel and energy to push harder and to push farther into a set. You know, my goal was, I read magazines on working out and stuff when I was younger, tried all different kinds of things, and it wasn't until I learned how to kind of push past that. I enjoyed, like, that became my goal, was like not just to get to a certain number, but it's like, how many can I do? How many reps can I do? How much weight can I push? And you start to learn a lot about yourself. And you can't push a heavy weight if you're not grounded, if you're not centered in your body and not grounded. And that's where I think I learned about, you know, being centered, being mindful, being in your body. And horses really, they really give you feedback about that. You know, some more than others, because some are more sensitive than others. But, you know, if you're trying to do anything with the horse, I think the more centered and grounded you are, the better, because that grounded energy is kind of a calm energy. You know, it's solid. It feels calm. And horses like that. Plus, I think when you're in that state, you're going to be more in touch with like your feel and what you need to do with your horse. And it becomes more of a back and forth, give and take language. You do something, you get feedback from your horse, and it's like, sometimes you don't get the feedback that you are wanting to get, but the feedback that you get is what you need, so you can change maybe the way that you ask it to get the feedback that you want. But our horses show us those kind of things. And see, I got off on another thing. Oh, I was looking in here because there was, I just want to say these two things, and this is just from Sunday, I think it was. I had this book out, and then I was watching, I turned the TV and Super Soul Sunday was on. And I can't remember the lady's name that was on, but I thought this was good. She said, life is a dance of making it happen and allowing it to happen. And I just really liked that. And then also, life is shaped from the inside out. I really liked both of those things because I think it's so true. It's like when you're in your body, you're working from the inside out. So you're not just on the outside going through emotion if you're lifting a weight, or on the outside riding your horse, you know, making your horse do things. It's when you get in your body is where you start to feel the dance of making it happen and allowing it to happen. So it's almost like, you know, you're asking your horse something, and then you're allowing it to happen. And it's that dance. It's this dance again, this dance. It's the same with working out. It's the same with riding your horse. It's getting in touch with that flow. So going back to, we were talking about the first energy center, this brings you in the way that I feel it and the way I see it is, this is the second energy center, which is flow. It's duality. So to me, it's two things coming together, and it's flowing together, or dancing. Dancing is something that's like good for the second energy center, but it's dancing and flowing and connection. So, and I think that's where your feel comes in too. You know, you get that connection and the flow, and you're, you know, one is the leader, one is the follower, and vice versa. Just like, you know, you're not always the teacher and you're not always the student. Sometimes you're the teacher, sometimes you're the student. Sometimes you're the leader, sometimes you're the follower. And it's just feeling. When you feel, that's when, you know, you can flow with somebody else. In the gym, you're flowing with the weight. Riding your horse, you're flowing with your horse. Sometimes your horse is the teacher, and sometimes you're the student, and vice versa. Sometimes you're the teacher or the leader, and your horse is the student or the follower. You know, so I don't think it's like, you know, just one way where we're always the leader. You know, we're supposed to be the alpha, the alpha mare. I think, and I said this a long time ago, 2 or 3 years ago, I think in one of my live videos, and these are kind of some of the things that I think about. It's like, to me, it's not about being the alpha mare and being the leader and the one in charge all the time. I think it's being in the alpha brain wavelength. Because the alpha brain wavelength is, I think that's kind of where horses are. And it's kind of a relaxed alertness. You know, you're not like deep into meditation, but you're relaxed, but you're still alert. And to me, that's that soft eye feeling. It's like when you pull your eyes back, and I like tune my ears in. So it feels like this to me. This is what it feels like. Your eyes come back. So, and if you look at it from the side, so say you have harsh eyes, you're focused on something, and it's like, nope, too hard eyes. We're going to make soft eyes. So we're going to pull the eyes back. But that almost shifts your body back too. It shifts your energy back. And when my eyes come back, I feel my ears come out. So now all of a sudden it's like I feel like my ears are more in tune with my environment. My eyes aren't focused harsh out, they're pulled back, and peripheral vision. And to me, that just gives you a sense of like, and I've watched videos, Dana Hokana, she talks about hard eyes and soft eyes when you're riding. And, I've always used that in the gym. But when I saw her talk about that, I'm like, that's true. It's like where we look and how we look affects our energy and our breath when we're riding our horses. So she had somebody she was teaching, and she says, now have soft eyes. And you could see the horse change. It relaxed more. It was, the gait was a more flowy gait. So, there's like subtle things that we can do. Sometimes we don't think that something like that would make a difference in what you're doing, but it does. And you really get to see it when you're with horses, but it also makes a difference too in the gym. It's like you bring those soft eyes in, it just like brings you inside your body. And when you're inside your body like that, you're moving the weight from inside the muscle out. And that to me is how you get more density to the muscle, is when you shift and lift from the inside out and not the outside in. One good way to like tell too, if somebody is like, and I can feel it now, I've like done it so long, and I can usually feel it. I feel it. I feel it in my breath. I can see it. I'm not watching it like this, but I can feel it and see it, and the energy of it and the peripheral vision of it feels the same, and I can feel it in my breath too. But one thing that you can tell, and my battery is getting ready to go, so I'll finish with this last thing, is one way that will give somebody away if they're lifting from the inside or the outside is with curls. So when you're coming up and you are doing that, I'm doing that from the inside. If I come up and do that part, usually that's because somebody is focused here. So when they get to the top, they're trying to pull that in even more. And to me, that's lifting from the outside. They kind of just do it and go through a motion. But to really get to the inside of the muscle, if you kind of keep this back or keep it straight, depending on how much weight you're using, and you come up like that, I'm actually, when I'm thinking about that, I'm on the inside of the muscle, flexing my muscle to lift the weight. So when you're on the inside, lifting from the inside, you're flexing the muscle from the inside to make the weight move. You're not moving the weight like, you're not thinking of lifting the weight. Because if you're thinking of just lifting the weight, you're going to be here and this is going to do that. I'm thinking of moving the weight, lifting the weight. That's kind of doing it from the outside in. So the inside out. Try it. If you haven't tried that before, try it. There's a difference. There's a difference between working from the inside out, and you can do that on any muscle that you're training. And I think it's also the same with riding your horse, is when you're riding from the inside, you're grounded in the saddle. You're connected to your feel and your flow. And it's different. Your eyes will feel different. Everything just seems to kind of click and flow and fall into place, I think, when it's that way. So anyway, I don't see a thing on my phone, but just a second ago it showed it was 5% left, so it's gonna die any minute. And I want to get this shut off before it does, because if not, it'll take forever for this thing to process. So anyway, 49 minutes. We'll wait until it gets to 50 and then I'll say bye. We got 4 seconds, 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye. I hope this was helpful. I hope it made sense. Leave comments below if you're watching this after the live. And yeah, thank you. And watch for tomorrow. We might do a workout tomorrow. Could be possibly Friday. Just depends on how I'm feeling. So, and what I got going on for the day. So hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys soon. Okay? Bye.